Okay, this will be the third time I'm trying this. So, let's see. You take the bow and you turn it over the back. You've already got your thread knotted. I always match the thread to a color in the bow, usually the predominant color. In this case, it really doesn't matter because it's red. And I'm using a 7/8 bow because I figured it would be easier to see. There's a V where the bow's gathered at the top and the bottom. So you take a tuck, you take a stitch rather, right at the V. Not too big a stitch. Just take a stitch, okay? And then do it again to make a knot, because you want to make a knot in it. So you're going to take another one and run your needle through and pull to a knot, okay? Then take your scissors and trim the excess knot off, just, you know, for neatness. Now, take the rubbers, both of them at the same time, and run them through the thread, through the needle and thread, and try to let them sit up there a little bit. Now, the bottom V, I hope you can see this, the bottom V, you're going to take another stitch, okay? Now, when you pull this time, you want to make sure that your rubbers are positioned. Hopefully you can see that. They're standing up. You want to make sure that they're positioned in the right place before you tighten the thread. And still, you don't want to pull it real tight just yet. Okay, so then you take your needle and you go from one corner here underneath the rubbers to the other corner, and then you pull. Okay, now they're pretty secure. They're not going to be moving around anywhere and twist around. Take your needle, put it through the rubbers towards yourself or your hand that you're sewing with. And again, now you've got another one going over the rubbers. So now you're going to, again, go from corner to corner underneath the rubber bands, and be careful not to catch them. Make sure you go deep enough to miss them so you don't run the needle through the rubbers, and you pull tight. Now this time you can pull a little tighter. Okay, now you keep repeating this through the rubber bands. Oops, I dropped it. Hold on. Through the rubber bands towards yourself. Make sure you don't get it wound around your bow. I've done that before and then had to take the whole thing out. So through the rubbers, again, underneath, corner to corner, underneath the rubbers. Okay, now, if you happen to have some of the bows that I make, if you're a person who has ordered them, okay, then you will be able to take a look and see how many times I went through those loops and secured it with the material. If you don't, you just have to take my word for it. It takes a lot of times. You want it really thick because when you pull these to put them on the dog's hair, you don't want hardly any thread holding them down because they'll break. When you get all done, when you think you've got enough, the last one is you take a stitch right here in front of the rubber bands, just like this. Take a stitch through the material and catch the loop here and pull it and knot it. Okay? I do it twice. And the fact that I always use double thread too, I always double my thread. I always sew with double thread. I do it twice, so it's nice and tight. Then you can clip it, and there's your bow. There's your rubbers on your bow. Okay? And that's all there is to it. The hardest part really is the repetitious going through the loops and underneath and through and underneath. But that's where you get your strength from. Okay? I hope this helps.